Hey everyone, Aaron here, helping musicians get better, faster, and what you just heard was the Trombone and Euphonium All-State Etude for the state of Florida for this year. So what I wanted to do was not only play it for you, but also give you some of my tips, looking at it as a judge, and what I would be kind of thinking about as I prepare this thing, getting ready for the audition in the next school year. Okay, so let's start with the lyrical, which is the Bordoni, Rochu, Melodious Etude, whatever you want to call it. It's the first one, it's number one. So right off the bat, you're hit with a piano. I would highly suggest bringing your piano up to something a little bit more than what you might do in an ensemble, but also you have to bring everything up with it, right? So to try to stay away from playing like a meh all the way through, just make sure that your piano is brought up and that all your dynamics that accompany it and are around it or anything louder also come up with it. A really good way to kind of test playing that sort of a thing is pick up your instrument, play the very first note just comfortably, and see where that lands, and then try to play it just a little quiet. And that's where I think your piano for this particular instance is gonna lie. So the next thing that you're gonna have to manage is the retard in the second line, just making sure that it's ambiguously marked. It's just kind of a word and a couple dashes underneath two measures. So just make sure that you go kind of relax through the eighth notes and then really relax through the dotted eighth, a good bit through the 16th, and then continue to slow down through the half note. And that continues into technically that quarter rest at the end of the measure as well. So that part is actually a really good time for you to be able to check in, get rid of any extra air, nice big full breath, almost like you're starting again on the third line. Now with these two grace notes on these higher notes, be careful about accenting the grace notes. These are not like da 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 da. Nothing like that. It's just a light tongue, and you're moving from the same note down. So you're going to be able to dee dee right. Just a nice easy. It's almost like you just move to the right note a little bit too late. And speaking of high notes that are in this thing, like that G that's in the fifth line, go ahead and give it a nice little bit of an articulation when we get the opportunity to do so. Don't be afraid or feel like, it's Bordoni, so we don't tongue. If that articulation on notes that, have articulation to it will help you get those high notes, go for it. Don't feel like you have to play everything so pretty and legato. Yes, you do, obviously, but the tongue, if it's going to help you play those high notes, let it happen. And then for trombone players specifically, I would really consider doing some alternate positions, especially with fourth position. Like there's one arpeggio that's like G, B, D. Just keep that in fourth position so you can naturally slur all of that and have it be kind of more along the lines of what the people with the valves are going to be doing. And it keeps that nice singing quality as well. There's some places that you're going to have to do that. Just keep in mind your intonation as you do that. Not all fourth positions, third positions, whatever, no position. None of them are all built the same, so just make sure you're practicing with a tuner and you know how you have to manipulate to make sure that it is in tune. So moving on to the tried and true A flat major from the Voxman. I feel like this thing gets used a lot, and I think it's because, and I like it as a judge actually because of this, it has a lot of stuff for judges to hold on to. If you're looking at it, dotted 8th 16th is always a rhythm we have a hard time with. Then there are triplets involved in it. You go from fortissimo to pianissimo. So like everything on the page, like almost every other measure, there's something else for the judge to be really looking forward to make sure that you pull off to make sure that the etude goes the way it's supposed to. So like I said, differences between triplets and dotted 8 16ths, making sure crescendos and decrescendos happen, and also making sure that when we get to the squillante, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, that those are night and day, complete differences. really commit to that. Another thing that I notice when people play this is there's that A flat to G flat jump and A flat to A flat jump. Do, 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 do. There's that little jump there, and there's an accent on the lower note. Don't let that separate it. Ta, ti, 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 ti. It's not da, ti. Don't let that separate the quarter note from that. It is articulated, and you should diminish a little bit, but don't feel like you necessarily have to ta, ti, da, di, 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 di. It just has an emphasis. It's not separated. Also, trombone players, that first measure on the 6th line, where we have ba-dum, 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 I would really suggest going 3, 5, 6, ba-dum, da-dum. That way you can kind of stay on that end of the slide and you don't have to keep punching yourself in the face when you go to the F. So doing the F in 6th position, that's my suggestion. It worked for me. Hopefully it can work for you as well. And all of these tips are to help you get those etudes ready, but keep in mind, your scales and your chromatic are also a huge point grab. The people who do well on the scales and get as many points as they can and are playing as many octaves as they can tend to also be the people who win these auditions. But those are all of my tips. I don't think that this is necessarily the hardest audition we've ever had. I think it's a very solid audition, and I think there's a lot for the judges to hold on to and a lot of good stuff for us to work on. If you found this video helpful, please consider hitting the like button and consider subscribing to get more videos like this directly to you. Again, if you're in middle school, yours has already been posted. That is up, so check the playlist. And if you are in the other bracket for high school, be patient with me. It'll come up here soon, later in the summer. Look for that probably in the first week of June. But thanks for watching, guys. My name's Aaron. Be happy and never satisfied. Good luck at Allstate.